In northern Virginia, along the banks of the Rappahannock River, 6 miles northwest of Remington, a lesser-known battle took place during the Civil War on August 22, 1862. The Battle of Freeman's Ford was one of the opening thrusts which culminated with the Second Battle of Bull Run. Hi, my name is Andrew Benson, and for as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in history and finding historical items with the use of a metal detector. So being able to attend metal detecting events in locations most people don't have access to is something I rarely turn down. I'm here today on an invitational metal detecting hunt for Diggin in Virginia, organized by John and Rose Kendrick. The organization is dedicated to the recovery and documentation of historical artifacts of the Civil War. The farm we're hunting consists of 700 acres, and a large portion of the battle took place on the farm. During this hunt, our goal is to find the location of the Confederate troops and hopefully find some of the artifacts lost during the battle. This is Diggin in Virginia 54. We can only speculate at this point, but the river's right back there, Rappahannock River, and from the description it says they climbed up the banks, ascended a gently sloping hill. This is the 74th Pennsylvania speaking. And when they got up on top of the hill, they saw a supply wagon train in the distance. It was Confederate, went and captured some mules and some infantrymen, and then some of the troops from the Confederates fell back on them and started driving them back towards the river. Now this is already after the 61st Ohio and the 8th West Virginia had crossed as well, so all of them were involved in the battle here. Okay, this is the Rappahannock River. This is where the 74th Pennsylvania would have forded the river. Not right here, but upriver a little further where the ford is. This property actually doesn't have the ford on it, so I'm not able to go directly there, but the 61st and the 8th West Virginia would have followed, and then they would have been driven back across the river when the Confederates started to push them out. So, okay, first target that I have dug today. This is the first day. Looks like we got a bullet. Looks like we got a 3-ring mini there, and it looks like it's probably dropped. So that could be from the battle, that could be from actually that is a Sharp's carbine, some sort of a carbine bullet. This is a shell fragment. This would have been off one of the, this would have been from the artillery from the Union Army firing on the Confederates to keep them from coming in on the retreating Union forces. So that's pretty cool. Not sure what kind of shell that is off of, but definitely a piece of artillery fragment. Alright, got another bullet coming to light here. It's some sort of another carbine bullet. A flat base on it. So I'll have to look that up, give you a little history on that. It might be a Sharp's carbine. Okay, got something here that might end up being a coin because it's got a hole in it. Cannot quite ID that. That might be silver, might not. Just not real sure right now. See if we can get some water on that, see if I can tell what that is, but that might be a coin. Okay, got a nicer, deeper sounding signal here. Could be either a bullet or shell fragment or just a piece of garbage. We'll dig that up, see what we got. Okay, so I think got a bullet coming to light here. It's right there, you can see the white. Looks like that's gonna be a 3-ring mini. So that would have been a Union bullet. That's a 58 caliber. Looks like I got it with a shovel, dang it. But so this would have been from one of the Union troops. This is actually dropped. Probably the skirmishers running back from the confrontation with the rebels in a hurry and dropped that one. So pretty cool. Okay, just wanted to go over the detectors you generally got to use it in Virginia in this soil. So you'll notice the soil is really red here. It's got a lot of iron in it, very mineralized. Pulse induction machines are usually the thing you want to use here. This actually is a GPX 6000. It's more so made for gold than it is for relic hunting, but I've been successful using it relic hunting, and I've done pretty good, so that's what I continue to use. And while I'm sitting here, got another signal. It looks like another bullet right there. This one I think is, it's another, it's a 3-ring mini again. Yep. That is a dropped 58 caliber. So that would have been from the Union troops. Dropped most likely in a retreat, or it could have been dropped by a group that was that used the ford down below and was just marching through. But either way, that is a nice find. Okay, the hill in front of me here, we believe that the Texas Brigade was located up on this hill. It was comprised of the Texas 1st, 4th, 5th, and the 18th Georgia. They would have been up here, and the Union was shelling them from across the river. From the account, we believe that the Confederate troops would have been located back here in this tree line or on this ridge somewhere. We don't know what woods were here at the time period compared to what we have now. So, but the Union troops would have approached from down here. The river is in the tree line over the hill down there. 74th Pennsylvania crossed the river first, and then once they started to skirmish with the Confederates, they asked for backup, and the 8th West Virginia and the 61st Ohio were sent over. They charged, so the Confederates would have pushed them from up here on the hill and then pushed the Union troops back across the river back that way. So we've hunted up here today, found a few things. Usually takes a while to figure out a battlefield because there's not a concentration of stuff. Things are just dropped practically everywhere, and so you just hunt, and if you find something, great, but finds are kind of hard to come by because they are spread all over the place. Alright, got a nice sounded target here, nice and smooth, like possibly a bullet, button, something like that. Okay, so this is another piece of artillery shell. Diggin find quite a few of these. Not sure what that is off of, but definitely a fragment from an artillery shell. This would have been fired probably by the Union, as we think the Confederates are probably located in the woods behind me here. But I'll show you a collection of that. Okay, back at the hotel room. Let me just take a break from the fields for a minute here and go over the different types of shells and stuff that were being found on the property. Ended up being mostly artillery type things that were found on the property. There were a few buttons and bullets and things like that were found, but mainly it was a hunt for artillery items. And there were 4 different artillery shells types found that I know of. There were Britons, Hotchkiss, Schenkel, and Parrot. Now here's a picture of a Schenkel shell that was found. That was at the picnic on the trailer. Here's a couple of pictures of the Parrot shells that were found. And this gentleman that I saw in the parking lot had found one on a day when we got back to the hotel. So I was lucky enough to see that one. We'll get back to the field, and then I'll come back in a minute and I'll go over some of these different parts that I found from different artillery. Okay, this is kind of a nice find. Looks like it got a fuse here. So that would have gone in the end of the shell. Might even be a fuse adapter. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be the fuse itself. But so I will do some research on that and let you know what kind of fuse that is. But that would have gone in the end of the shell with a timer on it, and then when the artillery shell either got close to the ground or hit the ground, that would have gone off. So that's fairly neat. I'll put the information up on the screen on that. Okay, looks like I got a bullet coming to the light right down here. That one Might be carved. It's kind of odd shaped. Not sure on that one. I'll put the information up when I figure out what that is. Might be carved. It might actually be a bullet that's shaped like that, but I think it's probably carved. If that is a carved bullet, those are one of my favorite bullets to find. They really personalized by the soldiers. They used them for game pieces and just to pass the time of day when they were in camp. So kind of a neat thing. Okay, I just picked up a different bullet. I believe that is a fired Enfield. That's pretty cool. That would have been Confederate troops firing those. I did not see any rings on it, so I'm pretty sure that's an Enfield. I'll put the information up on the screen on that one. Okay, just dug something I think is probably a flat button. I think that's going to be the shank right there. Oops. I think that'll be the shank right there, kind of folded over. But yeah, I think that's a flat button. Wasn't all that deep either. Okay, just found a shell frag here, a nice big piece. This would have been from a parrot. And if I take this fuse that I found yesterday, this is a fuse adapter. It actually fits right here in the threaded area of the shell. So the fuse would have gone on the top of the shell. So it would have been a 10-pound parrot shell. But that's pretty cool. And that was not very deep. That was really loud. Go over some of the artillery pieces I found, and this isn't everything that I found. Some of it I didn't even get out. I've still got others. There was quite a bit of artillery pieces found on the field. Let me just go over a couple of these pieces that I know what they went to. I know this was the base to probably a mini Hotchkiss. All these odd-shaped fragments generally came from the center of the shell, so when it exploded, it flew apart. These three pieces up here would be nose pieces, and that's where your fuses would go. And so the fuses, what they did, I know I showed you one of these in the field already, but like for this was probably a parrot shell. That fuse went right there. This possibly right over here is the nose to a Britain. Because that does fit in there, and I did find that piece in the lower field down where that fuse was. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it's possible. And then that also probably is a piece of a parrot, but I'm not sure on that either. So okay, found something different. I think this here is a friction primer. I'm pretty sure that is. That would have been used on one of the cannons. Yeah, I'll put some in for. Yeah, that's definitely a friction primer. You can see where the little knob was right there. So I will put some information up on those on the screen. But that's a neat find. All right, got another bullet here to add to the finds. This looks like it's going to be a 58. That would have been fired by the Union Army. Looks like I got it with the shovel, unfortunately. It's right at the bottom of the hole there, so I think that's dropped too. Don't see any riflings on it. Has been smashed at one point though, probably by a plow blade or something. That's neat. Add another one. Alright, got another target here right in the bottom of the hole. Hopefully at least another bullet. Oh, that's brass. That's a ring. Wow, that's pretty neat. That is probably a soldier's ring that was lost. Big enough to be a man's ring, that's for sure. So that is a cool find. Sorry it's so windy. Yeah, that is a cool find. Possibly lost by a soldier. It's looks of the period. Got a nice patina to it. So, yeah, happy with that. That's a nice personal item. Alright, different plan of action today. Out in the woods, change detectors to the DS2. And looks like got first bullet here. Looks like that's Might be dropped or smashed, might be fired. But that's a 3-ring mini Union Army. So cool. It's gonna be a 58 caliber. Gonna keep going here in the woods, see what we find. Attending these types of events isn't necessarily about the finds, and although the finds weren't spectacular, I did find some stuff that will help me remember the event. Being able to meet new people and get reacquainted with old friends, sometimes the best part. However, being able to read about the events that took place here on August 22nd, 1862, and actually finding some of the stuff from the period keeps me interested in the hobby. Each one of us needs something in our lives that fuels our interest and takes our stress out of it. Adventures around every corner and the world is full of them, so get out and explore more, and I hope to see you on my next adventure.